Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of How to Draw Cars. My name is Michael, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different in a sense that I'm going to attempt to do a car drawing that's not a pencil sketch. And I'm going to do it with these four materials. A ballpoint pen, simple, available everywhere in the world, shouldn't be a problem for anybody to get. The second thing is a black marker. It's an alcohol-based marker. If you don't have something like this available, find a Sharpie. It doesn't even have to be black, as long as it's a dark tone that's alcohol-based. The third material is a piece of chalk. What this represents is a light tone. So it's going to add light to the drawing. So it could be chalk from school. It could be chalk that you used to draw on the street with when you were a kid. It could be a fancy piece of new pastel like I'm using. My point is that anything that's going to add a light tone to your drawing and a sky tone, that's what you want for this technique. So you want something to draw with, you want a light tone, and you want a dark tone. Now what are we going to draw on? This. This is the cheapest paper that I could find available for sale here in the US. You can see it's on a roll, and it costs $2. This is the kind of paper that you would use to mask out a car. If you were going to paint a car, you would use it for windows. If you were going to paint a house, you would wrap fish in this kind of paper. In essence, it's the farthest thing from expensive drawing paper as you can get. It's very, very thin. It does have a nice tooth to it, so it does take the materials well, which is really nice. And the other thing that's cool about it is it's like a number 5 gray tone. So when you add light and dark to it, you're going to get a lot of pop in your sketches for not a lot of effort. So what does this look like? How do I make this happen? Let's find out. So I've already decided that this is going to be a rear 3/4 view. So I've drawn my front wheel in. Now I'm drawing my rear wheel in. And in a rear 3/4, the perspective works for you. So the rear wheel is going to be larger than the front wheel. And again, when you're drawing in the body side, the wedge shape of the body, typical wedge shape, is going to work for you. It's important to understand these concepts whether you're doing a front quarter or a rear quarter perspective. Now you might be asking yourself, who is this technique for? If you're someone who is putting a portfolio together to apply to a top design school, but all your sketches basically look the same, meaning they're all done on white paper, adding some sketch work with a medium tone paper like this is going to add that variety that's going to add some punch and pop to your portfolio. The other person that the video is for someone who lives in a place where they don't have access to a lot of different kinds of art materials, but you still have the passion, you love car design. This is what you want to do, but you don't have access to fancy materials and fancy paper and marker sets. So the point of the video is to show with a very, very basic paper that is not designed for drawing. This is not drawing paper. And a ballpoint pen and a dark tone and a light tone, you can create some very dramatic drawings for your portfolio without a lot of fancy materials. So if this resonates for you, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what it's like where you live if you have access to high-end drawing materials, professional drawing materials, or you don't. And what are you using? Is this video helpful for you to demonstrate what you can do with very, very basic materials? Another thing I want to mention is that if you look at my line quality, you'll see how fluid and dynamic and smooth it is. If you don't have lines in your car sketches that have this characteristic that look smooth and flowing and they're not jagged, do not use a ballpoint pen. You will not get better drawing with a ballpoint pen if you cannot draw like a car designer to begin with. Stay with pencils. Practice drawing from your shoulder until your lines are smooth and flowing and are not jagged. Once you get to that point where your line quality starts to improve and you're no longer drawing jagged lines, then you can think about drawing with a ballpoint. Now, one of the nicest things about using a ballpoint is that it's easy to draw through the upper of the car. You can see here I'm putting in the lines that you normally wouldn't see behind the glass. So the header and then where my pillars land. These are important to create the three-dimensional structure of the vehicle, even though you're probably not going to see them through the glass when you start to add your darks and lights. But you need to know as an artist, as a designer, that your sketches are correct and that you're not off on your perspective. So I'm just about done with my structure drawing, and I think it's time to move on to the next step. Now, typically when I do a drawing like this, white or light is the thing I add at the end and not at the beginning. But the medium tone of the paper allows us to add the light right at the beginning. And this is a little bit different from a process standpoint, and it's good to have new processes and develop new skills, because as soon as you get fluent and good at a certain set of skills and you start to lean on those, your work can get stagnant and a little bit boring. So you want to keep learning and you want to keep pushing yourself to try new things, even if it comes out terrible. So what? It doesn't matter. As long as you're trying things, as long as you're attempting to push your talent and push your skills to the next level, good things will happen. Now, if you're wondering why I'm adding the light where I am, or the white tone where I am, those concepts and a whole lot more about the actual rendering process is covered in Automotive Design Level 2 on Udemy. If you're interested, check out the course in the links below. So there's the light added. Now let's get out the black marker and add the opposite tone. So when I first start working with the marker, I'm going to add it in all the typical easy places that you would make a dark tone, which is in the ground shadow, the wheels, things like that. I'm going to do my DLO. I'm going to start to pick out all the basic dark tones that you would have in a car sketch. I think the hardest part about doing a car design drawing with one marker is that it doesn't allow for some transparency in the upper. Typically, I would add a number 5 gray, a warm gray, a medium tone now to that reflective area on the glass to create a sense of transparency in the glass. But I don't have that option because I put myself in this box of only using 3 materials or 4 materials. So I'm kind of winging it and using the black to create a tone that's not exactly solid. And that does give the sense that the glass, the upper, is transparent. So again, making the best with the minimal amount of materials that you have available. The shapes that you do see that are much darker represent the pillars behind the glass and the seat headrests. So again, these are key things that you want to include in your sketch to show that the upper is transparent, it's translucent, and you can see through it. So I'm hoping now, as I start to build in some of these dark tones and these dark shapes, that you're starting to see how effective it can be to use a medium tone paper and just add one dark tone and one light tone to it to start to build the surfaces and the forms of your vehicle. And hopefully, again, let me know in the comments that this is a benefit, because not everybody has access to fancy art materials. So here I'm putting in my body side reflection, and just conceptually, the body side reflection follows the form. So this is where the surface development part of your understanding of what you're drawing comes into play. If you don't understand what the surfaces are doing, there's no way you're going to be able to put an accurate reflective tone on the body side surface. So now I'm going to come back in with my white again and just kind of work one tone, one light tone, the light tone against the dark tone, and just add some detail to the surface of the vehicle, whether it's more sky reflection, some section lines, things like that, just to get this to pop even more than it already is. But hopefully, as you look at it, you'll start to see the beginnings of some solid surface on the page, and that's all you really want to do. So the goal of this exercise was to see if we could create a car design drawing with the cheapest and simplest materials available. We have a marker, a ballpoint pen, and a piece of chalk. What do you guys think? Was it successful? Do you feel like this is a technique that's valuable? Are you going to use it? Let me know in the comments. If you do like the content on the channel, please like the video and subscribe. If you have any ideas for future videos, let me know those as well. As always, thanks for watching.